Welcome back, everyone, to Tomb Raider, and this next level is actually, I guess you can say, more of a continuation of the previous level. So, the previous level was the city of Kamun. This is the Obelisk of Kamun. I mean, literally, all we're doing is, we're pretty much deep into the city, and I think the best way that I can, I guess, maybe describe this is, you guys remember the first level in Greece, St. Francis Folly, that I loved so much, where you have all these puzzle rooms, and you're constantly moving up and down and everything. I think this is probably the closest comparison to that, because pretty much the highlight of this level is there is an obelisk. And around this obelisk, there are 4 treasures that we need to pick up that are going to unlock a door. So, this, of course, means we gotta do some more puzzles and shit to get access to all of these little treasures.
Okay, then. So, about that Yu-Gi-Oh! Actually, real quickly, I do have one legitimate question. Going back to GX real quick that I thought of between last time and now. Yeah. Okay. So at the Duel Academy, there's only 4 dormitories: the Cipher Reds, the Raw Yellows, and then 2 Obelisk Blues. One for boys, one for girls, right?
Yeah.
Are they implying that only the Obelisk Blues are separate the genders, or is every single girl at Duel Academy an Obelisk Blue?
Every girl is an Obelisk Blue.
I guess I just...
At least in the Japanese version, because, it's like, oh, we gotta give, it's like, basically they went around the... It's a fucking panther. They basically went, they went under the assumption that, like, yeah, let's give the girls, like, the best stuff because they are girls. So even if they completely suck at dueling, which is, like, I think, like, Alexis's, the two chicks that were, like, her fangirls or something that were constantly hanging around her and everything, but they completely suck at dueling, but they're still obelisks simply because they're girls.
Huh. See, that was...
But if you're a guy, then that's where the different dormitories come into play.
See, that was actually a way worse reasoning than I originally thought, because I was immediately gonna think that girls are just better duelists, I guess. They didn't like the original builder of the school was like, which I guess would actually be Seto Kaiba. He's just sitting here like, you know what, all girls are amazing at dueling. We don't need to make girl dormitories for red and yellow. They're all in blue anyway.
No.
Oh, dang it.
In
my eyes, all female duelists are queens, and they will be treated as such.
Yeah, no. Although, admittedly, like the few times that, like, Kaiba actually does show up and everything, like, it's funny because even though, like, the teachers and everything, they do the whole thing where, look, if you're in red, you are complete, trash. Yellow, you're not too bad, and then obviously blue is the best one, and whereas the teachers, like, really uphold that argument and everything, Kaiba actually doesn't.
Really?
At least in the Japanese version. Like, I distinctly remember, you remember the episode where, I refuse to say his English name, but, when Monjome, he rejoins the school and everything, and then his brothers challenge him to a duel, and they throw that rule saying you're only allowed to use, like, monster cards with, like, 500 attack points or less. And they would use, like, they got to use, like, all these ridiculously powerful cards. So the entire duel, he's basically playing by their effects. And he's able to win and everything. In the English dub, Kaiba made, like, a comment saying, like, to the brothers, it's like, yeah, you guys just suck at taking over the world. Which admittedly is a really funny line coming from him, of all things. But in the Japanese version, he said, he agreed to the terms and everything. He's like, dude, any one of my students can kick your ass. He's like, any one of my students can easily win with a limitation rules like that. So, all right, game on. So it's like, in the English version, it was a lot more, comedic, but in the Japanese version, he had a lot of confidence in his kids.
Even my brother Mokuba can beat you in a duel.
Which
it's
he
actually
probably could.
it's actually kind of
Yeah.
It's actually a real shame that like you sadly don't see a lot of like the original Yu-Gi-Oh cast like showing up in GX, despite it being a sequel. Like Kaiba, I know, got some cameos. Pegasus, I think, showed up like once or twice.
I remember Pegasus distinctly because Pegasus like hand chose Chumley, I believe his name was, to be a dual card artist.
Oh yeah! Oh god! Yeah.
Oh yeah!
The kid.
Yeah.
The kid that nobody remembers.
The koala kid, I guess.
Yeah, koala kid. Yes.
Oh god, alligator!
But yeah, it's like and of course you got Yugi, but it's like you bring in like all these characters, and then of course here I am, sad fangirl I am. I'm like, where's Joey? Like he was like another like he's like your third main character. It's like it was Kaiba, it was Yugi, and it was Joey. We have two. What the fuck happened to the third guy?
Yeah, right.
It's like I know it's like he really got like dicked over, and it's like hell, in my opinion, he was the best character in that whole goddamn show. But it was like really. It's like, I get bringing in Yugi and Kaiba, and it's like, you'll bring in Pegasus, you'll bring in the Paradox Brothers, but Joey? Did he just drops off the face of the earth?
Right, Paradox did show up, didn't they?
Yeah, they showed up for the tag duel.
Of course.
It's because remember when they did that in the original Yu-Gi-Oh, and we're totally trying not to be like the original Yu-Gi-Oh, except we totally are. Because how else would you recognize that we're part of the same series?
Also, this was my.
I mean, aside from the
is that what they sounded like in the English?
You mean
okay, cool.
aside from the fact that they're using Duel Monsters cards?
I know.
I mean, that's
so
like
you must duel as a team.
That's like people saying that the reason why Ash hasn't left the anime yet is because there people are afraid that they won't recognize the Pokemon anime anymore if Ash leaves. Like you're saying that Ash is more recognizable than the Pokemon themselves? No, that's not why he's not. That's not why he hasn't left yet.
No, but it would be better if he did.
Hey. If this was post Gen 5.
I'm just saying.
If this was post Gen 5, I'd agree with you.
I remember Pokemon Origins. I remember that.
If this was post Gen 5, Danny,
Origins.
If this was post Gen 5, I'd agree with you. But XYZ and Sun and Moon are making him so much more likable.
Alright, so there's our Obelisk. So
does it have 4,000 attack points?
I guess.
Hey.
But okay, so I don't know if you saw there's like a glimpse up there. I tried to get a good shot, but like high up on the obelisk is where you can find these treasures. The problem is that they're literally like on these tiny ass ledges that are on the obelisk itself, and like the only way you can even get to them is if you complete the puzzles that'll open up like a bridge or something that will allow you to actually walk on and collect the treasures. So it's like, this isn't like Uncharted where it's like, oh, I can just like shimmy and jump my way across to collect all these treasures. It's like, no, the way they're set up, it's like, you actually have to do these puzzles.
You know what? I just remembered something. I finally want to do, I actually want to go ahead and do, what we should have been doing this whole time, and comparing Tomb Raider to Uncharted, which is the whole reason why you're playing them side by side like this, Danny. But I want to make a comment about the creatures that just showed up in the last part we recorded for Uncharted. Like these,
those guys.
yeah.
those random ass creatures that showed up out of fucking nowhere.
Oh yeah, the
That-
Left 4 Dead 2 zombies.
Yeah, the things that like I'm still like I can't wait for us to get to the next part of Uncharted so we can see hopefully get an explanation on that bullshit. And this is where Tomb Raider does that kind of thing so much better. If Uncharted, because with Tomb Raider, this game began with Lara Croft being chased by a T-Rex. So already the game established, okay, this game's going to have some fantasy elements. So it established that very early on. So that's why when we got to the mummies, I wasn't really that, blown away or surprised or thinking they're out of nowhere or anything, because it already established itself as that kind of game. Hell, the whole death scene with Lara turning into gold also helped that out. But Uncharted, that whole time, was playing itself, while there was obviously comedy moments with the characters, it was playing itself straight, like as mummy. Speaking of which, but no, Uncharted was playing itself straight, as if everything that was going on could have happened in real life. And then out of fucking nowhere, these fantasy creatures show up, and that's just a huge whiplash. So that's where I'm gonna have to give a point to Tomb Raider here, because that's because Tomb Raider handled that a little better in terms of establishing its setting.
Okay.
Oh, so because Tomb Raider pretty much explained the whole fantasy aesthetic much earlier on, compared to compared to Uncharted, where they just threw these fantasy characters first before the supposed explanation that we'll probably get into within the next part. That's why Tomb Raider stands out as the game that took that this approach more efficiently.
It handled it better. Like I guess another good example to think about is that if you compare, let's compare two random games. Like let's compare Metal Gear Solid and Sly Cooper. Metal Gear Solid is obviously a game that it's a very seriously toned game that for the most part does play itself straight. Sly Cooper is a cartoon that plays itself very cartoonily, obviously.
Yes.
If you played Metal Gear Solid and you were playing it, and you obviously Metal Gear Solid does have some fanatical moments as well, such as characters like Mantis and things like that. Regardless, if you were playing Metal Gear Solid, the way it was the whole game, and then randomly at some point at the end, suddenly it got really, really cartoony, like out of nowhere for no reason whatsoever, that would be very jarring.
Yeah.
Like cartoony, as in like Sly Cooper cartoony,
yeah,
because that's like, Nano Machine's son.
I'm talking. That's why I brought up Sly Cooper. I'm talking like Sly Cooper levels of cartoony.
Okay, because it's like, because it's like I'm aware of that meme, like Nano Machines and like how over the top and animated that was.
I know very well that Metal Gear Solid does not play itself fully straight. There are definitely some fanatical moments where that they have to take some liberties for. But despite doing that, it's still a game that sets up its setting as a very serious setting for the most part. Sly Cooper doesn't. It has its serious moments, but it's for the most part treating itself like a cartoon. If Metal Gear Solid randomly at some point treated itself more like a cartoon than than the serious tone that it does, that would be bad. Same goes for Sly, actually. If Sly, which established itself as a cartoon game, tried to do more serious moments like that were more akin to something you'd see in Metal Gear, that would also be bad.
Right.
Okay.
That's kind of the point that I'm trying to get across here. Tomb Raider, it's established itself very early on that it's going to have fanatical moments. It's not going to be a fully realistic game. There are elements in this game that are purely fantasy. Whereas Uncharted, up until the point where those random creatures showed up, did play itself seriously. Everything in that game that happened could happen. It was you were fighting human enemies with real weapons in a real environment, and then randomly these random creatures show up. Like that's really jarring.
Okay. Well, I mean, like I said, to be fair with Uncharted, they will you will get your explanation, with the next parts and everything. So
I figured that much, but that's one of those things where it's like I wish they established that world as a fantasy world a little sooner than the ending of the game.
Okay.
Because, like I said, all that, like with what Uncharted did, all it leads to is a bit more of whiplash.
Okay. Yep, that's pretty fair.
And honestly, it wouldn't have been hard for them to do. Like, if they like the whole premise of Uncharted was, Nathan trying to, following this great treasure that his ancestor uncovered. If they showed, while they were exploring these tombs, more fanatical things while they were exploring them, then it'd be a little easier to process.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of a good example. Like maybe at some point, when he reaches while he's doing an earlier puzzle, maybe they find the corpse of one of these things or something, or maybe Rowan or something like has one of these things locked up and they're trying to figure out what it is.
Well, I
don't know, something.
Well, it was like I said. During the Uncharted Let's Play. We technically did get a little glimpse of a foreshadowing, but it was really quick and everything. Like, I don't even think you remember the scene, but because I tried explaining it, and I think you were drawing a blank.
Yeah, I think you brought up that scene again. Like it that's a step in the right direction, but it wasn't enough. Like the fact this really isn't saying much coming from me, considering that I have short-term memory loss. But the fact that it wasn't establishing enough to really draw out their presence means they really should have done a little more. Means that they really should have did a little more with it.
Okay.
Like, just saying that, this guy was, like, eaten and there's footprints around, at most, that could make me think, oh, so what, there's cannibals or something? Maybe, like, native cannibals? I don't know. Like, that doesn't really establish, like, an actual creature, some kind of monster.
Okay.
Like, it's one, for one, like, if Tomb Raider took a similar approach, like, it'd be one thing. Yeah, it's if you're gonna take the footsteps with an eaten carcass route, the creature has to be something really out of the ordinary. Like if we didn't immediately see the T-Rex at the beginning of the game, but instead saw a giant fucking T-Rex footprint with half a body with someone's half-eaten body missing, that'd be a bit more establishing. Like, oh shit, is there a T-Rex somewhere around here?
Right.
Whee! Oh, okay.
Yep.
Whee!
Yep. So.
These tombs have a whole lot of nothing in them.
These video games, such as Metal Gear Solid and Uncharted, are a little bit too serious for my liking. Let me change that by activating my magic card, Toon World!
Well, there's a difference between a game taking itself too seriously and a game with a serious setting.
Oh, well, I probably worded it wrong, but you know what I mean.
I know what you mean, but no, it's like what I was talking about is like Uncharted, is a game where up to the point of the creatures, everything that happened could happen in real life. Like, it was all, within a realistic realm of believability. Whereas... What, do you think there's something that happened in Uncharted that couldn't have actually happened?
Well, how do I put this? I mean, I don't know if this technically applies to this particular case, but it's like, if we're talking from like a realistic standpoint, if I were to get shot as the main protagonist, I would probably be on the risk of dying.
That's video game. Really, the game is implying that, like, really, the fact that you're playing a game, if Uncharted were a movie, Nathan wouldn't have gotten shot once during that whole movie, and if he were to get shot, it'd be a major plot point.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right.
Like, that's just video game. I mean, that's no different than, typical first-person shooter, real life setting, World War II, whatever games, where your character gets shot and faces it like it's nothing.
Right.
Yeah, Which even then I still call bullshit because I don't recall reading my textbooks of World War II where all these soldiers would go out into battle, they get shot numerous times, and they just hide, recover, wait for the wounds to magically heal, like if they have a goddamn healing factor.
Well, that also wouldn't be fun.
No,
imagine if you play a game where every single gun you picked up insta-killed everything in one shot. That wouldn't be fun. Especially if you were the one getting shot.
Well, coming from someone who has not, I can only imagine, for one, not played a Call of Duty game, and two, haven't played a Call of Duty game on veteran mode.
Okay, for one, I have played a Call of Duty game. It was on the
What?
Wii. It was on the Wii. I forget what it was called.
On the Wii?
Yeah, it was on the Wii. You know, yeah, the one where I used the Wiimote as the pointer. I forget what it was called.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because like I remember like going to like a
and you know what actually, in your defense, Ryan, the only reason I got it was because I got Animal Crossing City Folk at the exact same time, and my dad was with me, so I didn't want him to think that I was getting some random kiddie game, and I got the manly first person shooter game alongside it, just so it wouldn't look as bad.
Oh, BJ.
I did end up playing it a little bit. Like I ended up I played it with my my stepbrother, who I literally have not seen in 10 years. But it was a game. Needless to say, I spent more of my time on Animal Crossing.
No, I do not blame you.
So no, I know where you're coming from, Ryan. Because I really don't play first-person shooter games that often. Like, the most of a first-person shooter game that I really dedicated a whole lot of time was Halo. And, yeah, even then, I just wanted to clear up, I did in fact play a Call of Duty game, just not with real... What's the word I'm looking for? With real, fuck. I guess I didn't really...
With real what?
With a whole lot of care. I didn't care a whole lot about it.
Right.
Like, I got it just to get it.
Still never touched a Call of Duty.
See, now there you go, Ryan. If you said that to Danny, that'd be accurate.
Well, okay then. Good to know.
So again, what the fuck are these mummies? Why their arms are so fucking huge? Fuck yeah!
What the hell are these mummies? Their arms are really big, and oh hey, they can explode on contact. Nice. You know what? I take the comment about their arms back.
No,
these mummies are really legit.
Well, no, that's why I'm still wondering, like what kind of mummy? What were they before they were mummified? Because their arms are so fucking long.
Huh.
That's what I'm kind of wondering about.
Well, they have big arms. They have smaller legs. I don't know. At first glance, they kind of look like mummified panthers. But considering what different sizes their arms and legs are, I'm kind of going to think they're like mummified gorillas. Maybe.
So in reality, the ancient Egyptian colonies were actually ruled by monkeys.
Yeah, this is just Bugshot.
Mugshot. Wow, Mugshot. You really let yourself go on the muscle on the weight training, buddy. First you skipped leg day, now you skipped arm day. Like every arm day.
Well, it's like, I guess that's what happens when
I guess Mugshot 2 had his own family line, like the Cooper family.
It's like, oh, Bugshot. So anywho, we have at least got 3 of these 4 treasures, that we needed to collect around the obelisks.
Oh, you know what? Speaking of Sly, actually, I think
yeah.
I did kind of hear something. I'm not really sure if it's a confirmation or not, but I think it is kind of been dead set that they're changing the Sly movie into a Sly TV series.
Oh yeah. You know what? I think we actually talked about that like earlier during this playthrough.
Yeah, but but now I'm actually starting to hear more about it. So.
Right. We briefly mentioned it like a few parts back, I believe. And yeah, I did also mention that. I was like, it's like, aside from them, like the possibility of them making it into a movie, there is also the rumor going around that yes, that they may or may not either scrap the movie and make it to a TV show, or just do the TV show first and then eventually do the movie adaptation.
Yeah, which honestly I'm glad for, because it's like I brought up before when we last talked about this. Sly's episodic and repetitive type of set of story and setting wouldn't work as well in a movie, but for a TV show it'd be perfect.
Yeah. Plus, just like what I brought up last time, I guess the people behind this supposed Sly Cooper TV series are the same people behind the Sonic Boom TV series, which I think is safe to say that compared to how Rainmaker, the people who were supposedly in charge of the Sly Cooper movie, considering how they handle movies such as the Ratchet and Clank movie, I think when it comes to making anything Sly Cooper related, whether it be a movie or a TV show, I think the name Sly Cooper is in better hands.
Right. I mean, it's like, I know I'm in the very slim minority that does not give a flying fuck about Sonic Boom TV show, but it's like, but even I will admit that it's like, it's clearly a lot more well received than the,
The game?
Well, not just the game, the, Ratchet and Clank movie. The Ratchet and Clank movie was not very well received. I mean, for good reasons. I mean, there was a lot of issues that I had with that movie, just as a movie. Like, like going into it completely blind, having never played a Ratchet and Clank game before or anything. So it's like, okay, this should be an interesting experience for me. And oh my god, I was so fucking bored.
Speaking of which, actually, did you guys hear that that Miyamoto himself is directing a new Mario movie, a new Super Mario movie that's being made by Illumination Studios? The guys that make Despicable Me.
Yes.
I thought he was not going to, I thought that was like one of the things that he had said in the past that he was never going to do.
Well, now he's doing it. It's confirmed. He's directing this movie.
Huh.
Miyamoto himself.
Okay.
Finally, a true Super Mario movie.
Made by the guys that... I know everyone's already said it, but made by the guys that also made the Minions. And this is right after they made the Mario Rabbids game. Coincidence? Probably.
I think not. God damn it.
I'm trying to think, didn't Illumination, didn't they also do that movie Sing?
Yes. And that movie was subpar at best. I didn't care for it.
Yeah, I mean, the main story behind the movie, it was... I mean, there could have been a lot... They could have done a lot more. I mean, it's like they try adding in all of these characters and all their, their backstories or whatever, all within, a 2-hour animated flick. But I don't know. I think that concept just fell flat on its face pretty much.
Not a lot of development. I mean,
the characters were hardly even developed. Hell, you know what made the movie a little bit more tolerable is if the singers and such they actually had more character interactions between each other, helping each other out with their various problems in life or whatever.
Yeah.
But no, they hardly even talk with one another, and yet they pretend, and yet near the end, it's they still pretend they're the best of friends or whatever. When in actuality, it's at the end of the film, to me, you're still thinking, oh no, okay, I see where they're trying to go with this, but I still feel like they're just simple contestants that don't really care so much about each other,
Right.
You know what I think bothered me the most about that movie? I forget his name, the koala, the main character koala guy.
Yeah.
He bothered me so much because he was a very selfish character that I felt really didn't even learn anything from the whole thing.
Yeah.
He was a character who was literally given an entire movie theater, from the sweat, tears, and blood of his father, who worked a car washing job his entire life just to save up to buy his son this whole movie theater up to his death. And then his son is literally so bad at it that he's, making flop after flop. that, he's on the verge of losing it. And then he decides to make this competition, in hopes of saving it. But then there ends up being a misunderstanding, and that, originally they were going to make it only like a $1,000 prize, but then his assistant made a typo and ended up being changed to like $100,000.
Yeah, $100,000, $10,000,
something like that. And even when he figured it, even when he realized the mistake, he didn't open up about it immediately.
Yeah,
so
he still went on with the competition regardless.
Yeah, of course, it ended up being a liar revealed story, which I hate those. And it's fucking like and even in the end, when everything when everything goes fucking downhill and the whole place is destroyed, and he at that point he's literally left with nothing. He tries to go to car washing himself, but then the singers that auditioned for him, like the other characters, they came up and said, what, let's try to do a performance anyway. So he literally screwed everything up, and then these other characters come and pretty much fix everything for him.
Yeah.
Like I feel like he didn't actually learn anything. This character was literally handed everything the entire movie.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
What I remembered when I was.
That kind of bothered me.
Yeah, no, I completely see where you're coming from.
Yeah, like when I saw Sing on Netflix and everything, that's like, I'm like pretty much in the same boat as Ryan, where it's like too many characters, not enough development and everything between the characters, to the point where I was just like, not a lot of focus. So, like, what I've thought would have made for at least like a a little bit more of a decent one is like, fuck the koala, focus more on the singers and stuff, but let's have like, the elephant that was really shy, like she can sing, but she was so shy that she got stage fright, and she ended up she ended up working backstage. It's like, let's make her the main character. The other singers, they're not like, it's not an audition. These are established talent and everything. So as she's working backstage, she's interacting with these established people, from different areas. Like, you got the gorilla that plays piano. You got the pigs that do the dancing. You've got, Seth MacFarlane Mouse just being, smug little shit that can actually belt a tune. It's like, you have, the hedgehog that's trying to write her own music. It's like, and it's like, have the elephant character, interact with them. And it's like, through their interactions is where she can finally overcome her stage fright and ends up becoming a performer herself. It's like, boom! Now you have a little bit more of an interesting and easy to follow premise for a movie.
God, it's funny you put it that way, like as a improved storyline, because I remembered my sister and I were having a huge discussion about like exactly what we're talking about right now, like how they could have handled aspects of the Sing movie so much better, and no, my sister literally said exactly what you said.
It's like, that's to me is like, and that's like, and I'm not even like, it's like an obvious fucking storyline. It's like, I guess like it almost kind of feels like maybe that was where they were going with it, but then at last minute they decided on this koala storyline, and it's like, okay, let's just completely rewrite what we got.
Yeah, let's just complete what we got. We need to have more. We need to have as much time as we can to work on Despicable Me 3.
Which kind of, and it's like, Sing was one of those movies, like, it had a lot of potential. Not a lot of it was recognized, though I will say, the music selection, fucking great. Like, I know that's kind of like a no-brainer, it's like, well, of course, a movie that's all about, like, music and everything, of course it's gonna be good, but it's like, you'd be quite surprised how many movies that are supposed to be about, like, singing and performing, and their music selection fucking sucks. Or the way that they perform it sucks. Like, look at the movie Rock of Ages. Great selection of music, but holy shit were they performed horribly.
Right.
This is one of the things I kind of have to question about Sing, too. Why were they animals? Was there really a point to them being animals?
I don't think it really matters. It's like, why is... Well,
typically, typically movies that make the entire cast like these anthropomorphic animals, there's normally a reason. Like, there's normally a reason why they're animals. Really, in the movie Sing, you could have replaced all these characters with humans and it wouldn't have changed anything.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of like what I'm more curious about. Like, I don't know. I guess it's just me nitpicking at this point, but like, really, because like they don't even really do anything with the whole animal motif. I can only literally remember one joke that has to do with the fact that that's an animal joke, and that was when the koala was trying to talk to the giraffe, but he couldn't. But the giraffe couldn't hear him because he was too tall. That's literally it. Wow, that tree kicked your ass. Fuck you, tree.
My worst enemy, the palm tree.
I'm gonna cut you down and turn you into a diary. Give you to some overmoody teenager girl.
Dear diary, I took down a very rude palm tree today.
Oh wait, you know this.
Oh my god.
Revenge is a bitch, isn't it, sucker?
Oh my god, but yeah, so I know it's like going back to like the soundtrack and stuff. I kid you not. It's like, this movie, subpar as it is, no, I fucking love the soundtrack. In fact, lately I have been listening to the movie's version of "I'm Still Standing" and "My Way."
Well, I mean that.
They're just that good.
Like, let's give Sing some credit here. It actually made a Taylor Swift song likable for me because I can't stand Taylor Swift.
Yes,
I can't stand her fucking music whatsoever. I know people love it, but I just cannot. I cannot get into her music whatsoever, and I especially fucking hate "Shake It Off." But the way the pigs performed it in Sing was fucking awesome. So
yes.
To me, that
God.
was the highlight, was seeing these pigs dancing this Shake It Off. It's like, oh my god, you actually made Taylor Swift, bearable to listen to.
Right. I honestly, personally, I do not mind the original version of "Shake It Off," but no, I will agree with you. The way Sing handled that song, they just made the song so much better.
Yeah, but yeah, I guess we can continue this conversation in the next video for, now, okay, we're pretty much now done with everything Kamoon now. So join us next week for the final Egypt level, the Sanctuary of the Skion.